Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
What's up, y'all? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today's episode is I Like It When You...
Let's go.
Today's show is brought to you by thestudleys.com/coaching. That's right, thestudleys.com/coaching. If you want to level up your sex life, your finances, your individual personal sovereignty and everything, and number one, your marriage, go to thestudleys.com/coaching to schedule a call with us today. You can ask our clients. It works. If you do the work, we're there. You got us in your pocket for the next 90 days. thestudleys.com/coaching. Let's see you there.
Do it.
Do it, people. All right, guys, welcome to Anatomy of Marriage. Today's show is, hey, husband, I like it when you... Hey, wife, I love it when you... Right? So what that means is tell your spouse what you like, because sometimes arguments happen when we're meeting unsaid expectations. We've talked about that before.
Not meeting unspoken expectations, you mean?
Yeah,
right.
and just having unsaid, unversed, unspoken expectations, and that does not work. And we have found it really helpful to say, hey, Melanie, when you XYZ, I like it. It makes me feel special. I feel loved. I feel masculine. I feel strong. I feel like, hey, that's cool. All that stuff, right? And tell me, we're gonna dive into some personal stories around that, and then tell you guys how you can have this conversation with your wife, with your husband, and then actually enact this stuff to have a better week this week.
All I can think of is, I like it when you call me Big Papa.
Well, that too. Maybe you do like that. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I called you yesterday. Was it yesterday? And I told you on the phone, I remember I was standing in Fred Meyer looking for blush. And I said to you, I like watching. So Seth has recently quit his full-time job, and we're doing coaching, and he was working from home, and I never get to see him work. And he was literally just doing like computer work for hours. And I never, ever, ever get to see that side of you that's like focused and whatever. And I was like, dang, I like that. Like it's attractive. Okay. And I called you and I told you that I like it.
So that we've talked about accelerators and brakes, and not only probably was that an accelerator, but it did something else emotionally for you that kind of tapped into your female security vibe need. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, oh, that guy's working hard. He can provide. He can do right, and he's doing right as a husband. So tell me a little bit about that and what that hit on.
Well, like all the things that you're saying, like it sort of, I got to see a part of you that I don't normally get to see, and it's related to the work that we're doing, the podcast and the coaching and all that stuff. And it's just exciting all around. And then I got to see you work really hard on it. But again, the main point I'm bringing it up is that I made a very conscious effort. Like I noticed when you were doing it, I thought, oh, wow, that's really attractive. I noticed it again later, didn't say anything. Then I thought about it later when I called you to ask you something, and you said, oh, I'm just working. And I was like, you know what? I need to tell him. I need to tell him out loud and say it in real human words that I think that this is attractive and I like it.
Right. Because, well, thank you, by the way. Oftentimes we think things. I think things about you all the time. Who you are as a person, the things I love about you, what attracts me, all this stuff. And oftentimes I don't verbalize those as much as I should.
Right.
And I know that you don't either. You've had to like write them down before and say, okay, say these things. And it's not a fake it until you make it, because you're not faking the emotion, right?
Right.
You're not faking the feeling. You're not faking anything. Right. You're just letting me know, hey, that was cool.
Right. It's like the 2 seconds that it takes you to communicate something that you, one, appreciate, but also you like it. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be like something that's for me, as in like like Seth did something for me. I like that. It could just be like how he, I don't know, does anything, grocery shops or mows the lawn. I don't know.
I think one thing that probably
you didn't even let me finish.
Oh,
it was
sorry.
Literally mid-sentence. But
I don't like it when I do that.
Taking like the 4 seconds to communicate that something is positive, that you appreciate that person, you see them, you're attuning to them, you value them.
Right.
That goes so much farther than any amount of like backtracking or apologizing or trying to convince someone that you really do care about them, even though you are silent 90% of the time.
Exactly.
Like, so it's these little tiny, almost like seeds that actually grow an enormous shared garden.
There's a couple of things for that. Sometimes they call that the emotional bank account. Like when you called me and said that, you are making a deposit, a positive deposit in our emotional bank account.
A deposit.
Right, which we can make a withdrawal later.
Right.
Like kissing or in the bedroom or whatever. It paves the way for that.
Laundry or dishes.
Laundry, right. Dr. John Gottman talks about the 5-to-1 ratio in relationships. For it to be fulfilling, positive, and on the up and up, you have to have a 5-to-1 ratio. That means 5 things that you like.
5 positive interactions.
That are pleasant, that are, okay, versus something critical, something sarcastic, something, that's not pleasant. And couples get in trouble when just that simple number goes below that 5-to-1 ratio.
Right. So it's 5 positive interactions to every 1 negative interaction. And I think an important part of that is that a positive interaction can be created, right? You don't, I don't have to go out and like buy something special for you, or you don't have to buy me flowers. You can create a positive interaction by simply saying something that you see and value in me and saying it out loud.
Right.
And it's like stupid how much we forget this stuff, especially the longer we're married. Like the I take you for granted vibes are just beyond anything.
They can get out of control really quickly if we're not intentional.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Enter pigs, right? Prayer, intention, goals, gratitude. Pigs.
Pigs.
What I also
we need to make like an 80s, like the Balzac. Pigs.
Oh boy. What I was thinking of
Have it like on a t-shirt, neon. Keep on.
When you saw me working, what was also implied is like, oh, my husband gives a damn. You know what I'm saying?
You give a damn ain't broken.
My give a damn ain't broken. If it is, then you're in trouble. Then your 5-to-1 ratio is really out, right? You got to fix your give a damn.
Right.
But the point of that is you saw me invested in something that would benefit you, our family, our business, what we're doing. And that is really big.
Right.
And so, okay, I'll tell you something. I just appreciate it when you dance. I've always admired the way that you move, kind of just dancing or whatever, like that.
Okay.
If you're watching on YouTube, which go subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll see me dance, which is not a thing. But it's sharing things like that, right?
Right.
So you can fill in the blank. Hey, wife, I love it when you and just don't make it about sex. Like, I love it when you come in the bedroom and jump on me and put down that bacon.
Slam down the Baconator. All I thought of when you did that was like cheese, like shooting on the. That's so gross.
Too much of a visual there. But I don't care.
Velveeta.
Guys, don't make it about sex. Of course, I like it when that happens,
right.
obviously, and most guys probably would. But don't just make it about that. Hey, I like it when you kiss my neck. I like it when you do anything physical to me.
Right.
Oh, it's always physical. It's always physical. No, share something that your wife cares about, that you actually like, that you, if you take a minute and reflect and not take those things for granted, if you take a minute and say, oh, if that wasn't in our marriage, in our life, I would be sad. I would be missing something.
Right.
And that can be from the type of perfume that you wear, or the way that you look when you're wearing your Pilates pants or something like that. You know?
Or, I'm on fire for Pilates.
Or the way that when we wake up in the morning, we say, hey, how'd you sleep? And we just kind of touch each other on the shoulder. That is what I'm talking about. So do not just make it sexual or physical, husbands, because we're much more emotional than that. Let your wife know that.
Right. And I think it's also important to make it not just be for the husband side about what your wife does for you. Because that's another area where I've seen it's almost like men shy away from like the beingness, like the ability to say to your wife, like, I love how caring you are, or how you sing or whatever. They tend to make it about, I love how you did this thing for me.
It would be like if I was thanking my DeWalt power drill thanks for drilling those holes. Thanks. That's awesome. Or, so that's just what it does for me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or I could say, hey, DeWalt power drill. So awesome, bro.
You allow me to build a table.
I like it how you show up and you allow me to build this table that is cool and I can be proud of it, and then our whole family sits and eats at it.
Because you're so strong, DeWalt.
Thanks, DeWalt.
I like Ryobi better. I'll be honest.
I don't. I'm a DeWalt dude.
I like Ryobi.
Right.
Anyway, what were we saying? What else were we saying?
And then for the women, I want you to speak to this. Hey, husband, I like it when you ... What are some things that you could give some tips? Because one thing, this may be a really difficult conversation for some couples. If they are used to communicating in an abrasive way, sarcastic way, or critical way, and they don't have that 5-to-1 ratio, saying something like this may be really difficult. So speak some life into the wives here.
Yeah.
And give them some tips.
I think it's thinking of, so I was just telling a client this yesterday, that imagine like in 3 years from now, you're in weird relationship trouble and you look back at the last 3 years and you say, man, if I'd have just done ... it would be okay right now.
Okay.
So like, I know that sounds like a weird practice, but like what little tiny change could you do? What positive thing could you say? What positive interaction could you create on purpose and share with your spouse that would actually change the trajectory of your entire marriage? And it's sort of like thinking that way. And it's all really small stuff. We were talking about that just yesterday, or no, this morning. You were in the cold dip. And you were like, it's what you do every single day. So this is like just me and Seth talking while he sat in an ice bath and I stood outside.
Right.
And he was like, it's what you do every single day that matters. Nothing else matters than the things you do every single day and their cumulative effect, right? So think of it just like that. It's like putting into that bank account the positive interactions and just say the tiny, even if it's like a flash of an instant of a millisecond instant of a thing that you think about your husband. It could be, you look really handsome in that plaid jacket. It was always going to be plaid. Or if you are using the chainsaw, that is very sexy. I like it when you use a chainsaw. Or I liked that Indiana Jones hat you put on and the whip.
See, that's all physical. Well, that's okay because you can talk to me all day about how you think I'm attractive
about
or
Indiana
strong
Jones?
or whatever. No, but it's also the things we do every day. You could say, hey, Seth, I really appreciate it. And I would miss it if you didn't say good morning to me every morning. Hey, good morning.
You said a really good thing there because I often do this when I feel like pouty and I don't want to do the things that I'm supposed to do, like be a good mom or be a good wife. I always think, and I don't know if normal people are like this.
Nope,
I
just
think
you.
about
You're weird.
I think about death every single day, like every single day. I think about
Memento mori.
Right, and I always am like, am I gonna find out that someone I love died today? I think about it constantly, and so I will flip it around and think, what will I miss when this person is actually gone? There'll be a time when you're gone or I'm gone or whatever. And so I will turn that and use that as momentum and helpful insight into like, you know what? I would desperately miss if like your clothes weren't on the bed. If one day you're gone and I have no more of Seth's clothes to put away, like your grandma, remember when her husband passed away and she just like, I made her a quilt out of his old shirts and she cried and cried. How many times have I ironed these shirts and all that stuff? So I will use that as like little tiny ways to reframe annoyances and turn them into things that are positive.
Right.
And then share it with you. Like, I'm thankful that you cut the grass or whatever the thing is. Whatever
it's kind of like when we've all had a dead battery on a car or something didn't work on a car. You get all ready, you're fixing to go out to your commute or to the store or whatever, and you get in the car, it doesn't start. You don't think about it until you don't have it, right? So sometimes that old saying, the old adage, you don't know what you got.
Seem to go that we don't know what we've got till it's gone.
Well, yeah. So
Joni Mitchell.
You don't know what you got until it's gone, kind of thing. So if we can get into the mindset, in the mind frame, the attitude of, okay, wait a minute. Right here, I would be very sad if I didn't have this. And that can be anything from the coffee stains from you making your coffee in the morning on the thing.
You're the one who has coffee stains, not me.
Right? Because you think, oh, Seth, that's just a tiny thing. No, that means that you were there and you made a coffee that morning.
I think that every time.
And then we're sitting at the kitchen table in the morning.
I think that because your coffee maker is like broken, so stuff is always like sort of strewn about, and it's always like that every morning. And
coffee everywhere.
Stuff is dirty like every morning. And I remember I used to be like, oh, why can't Seth clean his own crap and why blah blah. And then I started thinking that exact thought, like that coffee on the counter, that spill on the whatever, the grounds that are going down the cabinet wall. If those weren't there because he was gone, how devastating would that be?
Right.
And so it's a reframe that helps me go, I will gladly wipe this up and not complain.
So, you know what people got to do? You know what people got to do?
What do they got to do?
Seriously, they got to chill the F out.
Okay.
I'm serious. Ugh. Right? And so Melanie's not saying, okay, carte blanche to leave your crap everywhere and coffee and all that. Sure, that can still be annoying, and you can say, hey, clean your stuff up, bro, dude, right? And then if I'm just a weirdo and neglectful of that, then she reserves the right to be annoyed. Like, I don't know why he does this. It gets on my nerves. But of course, we're not going to let that ruin everything. We're talking about people who are in halfway stable relationships, decent, say, hey, all those things that you guys argue about, clean up the coffee, pick up your socks, chill the F out. Because would you rather be divorced from that person than look at a sock on the floor? Doesn't mean you have to pick it up.
Right.
Or would you rather just chill out and say, I mean, you could go really silly. Hey, that sock on the floor means my wife has feet, means which she wasn't in a car crash and didn't get her foot amputated, and she's here and can run a race and run around and go hiking with me. Of course, that's extreme, but I just want to. I mean, well, it's a crazy scenario, right? But if we actually can zoom out 30,000 feet and look at the stuff around us, it's like, wow. That's really important. And what I saw a quote, this was a long time ago, and it's really sad for those of us that have kids. There is a day that you will pick up your kid for the last time.
Right.
Oh, that kills me, right? Not because they've passed on or gone or anything.
Right. They're grown up.
But they're just growing up. And if you really think about it, and this gets so like sad, there was a time when I had the last conversation with one of my best friends from high school. That was the last one. Okay. Right. Because I moved to Seattle or whatnot. So if you think about it and slow down and take it and look at it into perspective, you'll see, wow, I've been making an ass ton of big deal about that for what reason?
Right.
To make a negative withdrawal in that bank account, and now we're not having sex, we're not talking, we're just roommates. Okay, let me turn that around and stop being an idiot and go, okay, there's stuff to work on here. Right. Let me be thankful. Yeah. Let me show gratitude for myself and then for my spouse.
And I think, too, right along with that idea, you can take those things, something as simple as your partner leaving their socks on the floor, and if they do it all the time, you can say, hey, I would really appreciate it if you picked up your socks more, thanks. And then when they do pick up their socks, you say, I love it when you pick up your socks. Thank you. Right? Like you can take all of those things and sort of reframe them into positive growth in the direction that both of you want. This is not like one partner has to just be thankful all the time while the other one's a total D-bag. Like that's not what we're talking about, if that makes sense. But I think it's very important that the little things really are the big things in the long run. They are big. Like think about it like this. If your husband is a total jerk to you for 6 months and then on your anniversary buys you like the biggest bouquet of roses and a gold necklace, like do you give two craps?
No.
Not at all. Like the gesture is huge, but it's the day-to-day actions that don't add up and you don't care, right?
Now, if he or she got you a huge present on your anniversary or something like that and said, you know what, I have realized the last 6 months or the last 6 years or the last 15 years, I've been an idiot. I've taken this for granted. I'm so sorry. I want things to change. And that starts with me. Here you go. Offering of, penance or whatnot. And then they continue that behavior on the upwards trajectory. Then you must respond to that. You can't just be, a bee and be weird and obstinate and resentful and bitter forever because that's heaping coals on you. Right. So, do you got any more thoughts of that? I'm going to wrap it up here with the three takeaways.
No, I think that it's just important to understand that so we often think that our partner can read our minds. We think that other people have some sort of window into what we're thinking, or that they would know magically, like, well, I took my shoes off. That obviously means I care about them. What are you talking? How would anybody connect these things, right? And we do this all the time. We see it all the time in coaching. People think one behavior is like a free pass that their partner must know this about them. And you're like, no, just say the thing out loud.
What do you mean?
Right?
Give me an example.
Here's a perfect example. We see it all the time. The wife will say, it feels like my husband doesn't care about me because he doesn't say nice things. I mean, you did this to me. And then the husband will say, I don't care about you. I pay for everything.
Right.
Which, what does that have to do with you caring about me? Right. So it's this weird, like there's a huge gap in what is being perceived and understood because there's no communication of like the little tiny things that make all of this stuff connect. So it's that kind of
really
thinking.
You have to have a conversation because I could say, or, our coaching clients have said, what? I do pay for everything. I show you that I love you by waking my ass up at 4:30 every morning to go to a job that I don't like so we can have food and all this stuff. That's what that's, sometimes I guess it's the guy thinking that.
Right.
So it's really hurtful and offensive when wives say that stuff.
Of course.
So really what has to happen is a real conversation. Hey, I thought...
But it's less of like a real conversation. It's more of like a putting into the bank account of like, I love and care about you. I love it when you go to work. Thank you so much for working so hard. And then the other way, I love it so much that you stay home with the kids. Thank you so much for staying home with the kids. These kind of statements could transform marriages. Just adding that in, which is ridiculous. It's not that hard to do. It's just that people don't know to do it.
It's ridiculously easy to do.
Yes.
So sometimes, like that plane example, if I want to go, so we're flying to South Carolina soon, right? From Seattle to South Carolina is like a 5-hour flight. If the pilot is off 2 clicks of the destination,
don't say that. We're watching Lost. Oh.
And we land somewhere in the South Pacific. Wherever we'll be? We'll be in New York instead of Charleston, right? Considerably different place.
Right.
So one small thing, so you guys leverage this for the positive. You can do this one small thing consistently, and then over time, it's going to get you to where you want to be in your marriage and improve marriage. More emotional intimacy, more physical intimacy, more feeling like this is a real relationship and you're not just roommates.
Right. It'll get you closer to where you want to be, and it will be more fulfilling and more rewarding. Like it's just all of these positive cycles, and it starts with such a small thing.
So, number 1, tell your spouse what you like. This can be easy. I like it when you get the coffee maker ready for me in the morning.
I like it when you do that.
Right. I like it when you touch my shoulder. Don't turn it into, well, one time you said you didn't like this and blah, blah. No, don't be an idiot, right? Let's go with what let's use what we got, right? Use the tools, use the material that you got in front of you. So tell your spouse what you like. Number 2, if your spouse is telling you what you like, do what they say they like. So it's incumbent upon you. If Melanie says, I like it when you fold laundry. I like it when you touch my shoulder.
Yeah.
I like it when you get the bed ready.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to comment on that because it's essentially your spouse is giving you a guidebook. Here are the things that matter to me. Here are the things that I value. You don't have to guess. I don't know what my wife likes. If she's communicating to you, man, I love it when you fold laundry. Then you go, wait a minute. I got to write this in my little thing.
It's like a Christmas list.
Right.
You kind of, you put that in the back of your mind. You drop a hint in October or September. I'm like, oh, okay. Let's see. I'll put that in the little bank for December 25th. Do what they say they like. Understand? That's number 2. Number 3, visualize yourself giving and receiving these things to live out your version of what a happy, healthy marriage is. So this goes a really long way. Hal Elrod, which we had on, go check that episode out, talks about the power of visualization. Okay, in the morning when I'm sipping my coffee all alone, I visualize me telling what I like, me telling Melanie what I like, and then I visualize her telling me what she likes, and then I triple visualize doing those things for her.
Right.
See yourself doing these things, because when they actually come around to it, it's like you've done it a second time and the first round was practice. And visualization.
That's really important if you were raised in a home where communicating thoughts and feelings and emotions is limited or non-existent. And it's funny because I have a wonderful family, but they just don't say these kinds of things. So I had to literally imagine myself being kind and loving to Seth. I would have to close my eyes and sit there and imagine myself walking to the front door. He comes out of his car. He opens the door. I mean, I felt like such a ding dong doing that practice, but it helped me tremendously because otherwise my body would just freeze. I'd see that he was home. I'd stand there like a weirdo and not know what to say. I wouldn't know how to say hello to him. And I'm not kidding. Like, this is not that long ago that I was behaving this way. And I have had to train myself by visualization to change. Why are you smirking?
Because you had to unlearn the weird social awkwardness of your family.
My family is powerful. It's like Jin's family. No, Son's family.
Powerful?
Lost. They're so powerful.
They'd be more powerful when they talk more. Anyway, let's go for the next thing here.
Anyway, I love this topic. I think it is such a simple way to improve your marriage. It doesn't take hardly any time. It just takes awareness and bravery. And if you need to visualize it, visualize it. Again, if your spouse is saying, hey, I love it when you XYZ, take a mental note. Why is the thing buzzing? Take a mental note and say, oh, that's a thing I can do to help them feel more loved, right? So it's a very life-giving process,
Right.
but only if we look at it in that, with that sort of frame of mind.
That's
If
right.
we think that for some reason it's poopy, we're going to get poopy results. So don't be poopy.
Okay, guys, do this. Number 1, tell your spouse what you like. Number 2, do what they say they like. Number 3, visualize yourself giving and receiving all this stuff that they like, right? If you like this, email me right now, coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com. We'll talk about this more, set up a call with us, and coaching works, okay? We kick your ass and you learn a lot, right? Couples have done it. They are in a way different place after 90 days than they were before. They're not getting divorced. They're talking more. They're having more sex. So you guys, coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com. Email me there, and I'll get straight back to you. So
All right.
anything else, Camille?
No, we love you
All right.
guys. Thank you for being amazing. Oh, one last thing. Rate and review our podcast on iTunes because you know all the reasons. That's all I need to say.
That's the call to action
Please
there.
go and do that for us. If you like this show, go rate it and review it.
All right.
All right,
All right,
fair
guys.
five.
Later.